It's time for the best Limbo 6-2 strategy. Welcome back to Corky Gachas, and in this video I'm going to share with you guys how to clear the latest Limbo 6-2 with the least amount of investment that is quite reasonable, I think, for a lot of people. And for that, I'm going to set certain restrictions on the team that I use to truly call it low investment or catering to people that are struggling, right? Not just like cruising through. So the first thing that I'm going to set for myself is there is not going to be a use of Tooth Fairy. So I cannot use my Tooth Fairy for this stage. In fact, for top and bottom, I did not use Tooth Fairy just to hamper myself to make the game a bit more fun. Second thing that I have restricted myself is that there is only going to be the use of one I3, and for this one I did use A Knight. And then unintentionally, but also quite good to reference in this case, is that I have not used any of the Star Afflectors units in 6-2, meaning there is no bonus 30% damage at all. So with that in mind, first up, my team members are A Knight, Necrologist, Beacon, as well as Balloon Party. So these 4 units, their respective investment levels are I3, R10 for my A Knight. Necrologist is I250 as well as R7. Same here, Beacon is not R10, it's actually only R7 and I250. And also Balloon Party is I250 and Resonance 5. So for Beacon itself, I don't think I'm going to I3 her because otherwise I might make the content a bit too easy. You can see I'm only left with 4 books. So in the future, maybe I would do so, but for now, I will try to leave her on I250 to test more stuff. So this is a team that I use for that clear. So going straight into the beta, I'm going to explain to you guys the strategy. So going right into it, you can see this is a team, like I mentioned, that I use. Nothing has really changed over there. And I'm going to explain to you a couple ways that people usually recommend you to clear it. So people will either call you to go for the crystal first, or they will also say that if you have enough investment, you can go straight for the body. I'm going to explain the different mechanics briefly because I know you guys are not really interested in mechanics. You just want to know the simple way to clear it. So the basic mechanics is that you are going to want to kill off the different parts in a certain order to maximize the potential of you clearing this stage. Because if you were to go for the body first, so if you go for the body first, the body, once you kill it, it will kill off all of the rest of the body parts, but it will resurrect to 100% again. So this is very suitable for people with high levels of investment with units that have a lot of burst. Since this is requiring of high investments when it comes to high damage and also high sustain, because the hands will keep pumping you, right? You do not really want to do this if you have low investment. So one of these strategies out of the way. The next one that people will recommend you to do is to go for the crystal first. However, going for the crystal first while leaving the arms alive would also mean that this is a relatively high investment strategy, because when you kill the crystal, right, the arms doesn't actually stop attacking. So even if you are trying to lower them all at the same time, to lower all of their HP at the same time, the arms would keep attacking 4 action per round. So 2 attacks times 2 from the right arm that is going to do multi-attack damage, as well as 2 single target heavy hitting hits from the left arm. So in total, 4 actions, you're going to take a lot of damage. So this is also why the crystal strategy, in my personal opinion, I've tested a lot of times, it doesn't work that well for low investment strategy. The best one that I have found is in fact going for the arms first, but even in the arms there is some intricacies, because when I tried going for either arm, right, I found that going for one of the arms is significantly easier. I'm going to explain why as well. And in fact, it is going for the right arm, as you can see in the video which I'm going for. The right arm deals multi-attack hits, and not just because it deals multi-attack hits that it deals higher overall damage, but also, right, if you are thinking that, hey, the left arm that deals single target deals higher damage per hit, which means that it's more likely to KO your units. That is not true because of the AI of this game. So this is also good for you guys to think about. In the future, I don't know if the AI is going to change, but for now, the AI is that if the AI actually uses a single target attack, it will not hit the same target twice. So this you can definitely exploit, which means if you have a attack that is multi-target, right, the primary target of the enemy itself will not change, but the secondary target can duplicate, which means that you have a higher chance of getting 2 hits on a single target. Combining with the ultimate that the enemy actually uses, the boss actually uses, you have a high chance of your units dying, which is why going for the right arm is always the right choice over here. So you can see I'm going for the right arm, and then afterwards I will be going for the other arm while also weakening down the crystal. This is quite important because ultimately, right, if we were to not kill off the crystal, the right arms and the left arms, they will keep respawning. So even if they are disabled for 4 turns, right, you'll never be able to kill off the enemy. So going for the crystal is also mandatory. Just that the order is that I will go for the right arm first, then I'll go for the left arm, disabling them, the first one for 4 turns, second one for 4 turns, and then subsequently kill off the crystal. If they respawn, it's fine because they will stagger respawn. So if they don't respawn at the same time, you're not going to receive the full action points per round that I mentioned just now. And this is also going to be quite useful when it comes to reducing the amount of sustain you have to actually use for the AP cards. So in this sense, right, your DPS is increased. You might think that it's a bit ironic to go for the arms first because it will lower your DPS on the main target and you have a 12 round restriction. But in fact, if you don't have to heal as much, you can use all the AP cards to actually attack with the shuffling technique. If you have a lot of healing cards, just shuffle it, go to the attack cards, and that is how you're going to maximize your DPS. You can see now both arms are disabled. However, the right arm is going to come up again very soon. But this time around, I'm going to go for the crystal regardless. Necrologist here can be replaced, of course, by a lot of other units. It's not really something that is mandatory. It's just one of the units that I have that are lower investment that also is very useful for 4-man team battle. So this is why I'm using Necrologist. The damage increase is very helpful. So very good, especially since I'm not using Star Afflectors for the extra 30% damage. So this is where the strategy comes in. I'm trying to debuff. I'm trying to now kill off the crystal. And once the right arm comes back alive, right, you also want to use a bit of your DPS to actually disable it again. So using AoE targets such as like beacons, the sleeves, using some of like A Knight's AoE attack, or even if you have other of the Star Afflectors units, right, you can also do so. Lilia is also quite good because the single target, right, the follow-up attack will not get wasted. It will go on to the secondary target. So Lilia with extra damage bonus, Afflectors bonus, as well as the follow-up mechanic is pretty decent for this stage as well, especially since it's a single target focus one. But in this case, I don't have any of the star units, and also quite conveniently, it means that my team can also function at lower damage levels, right, despite the fact that I do not have those Afflectors bonuses. Now, I'm just focusing on getting down the crystal, and the left arm, you can see now it's alive again, quite annoying. But my single target DPS ultimate, right, for beacon is always going to be targeting the main target after the crystals, and the right and left arm is all at a very low level, because you do not want to run into a situation whereby you kill off all the arms but you do not have enough DPS to fulfill the 12 round requirements. So try to just use your AoE damage, right, to kill off the leftover arms and crystals when they're all disabled. So once the crystal is disabled, it will recover itself for one time, 15% HP. But during this time, right, if you were to kill off it again, you have to kill off any of the arms, they will not respawn because of the passives being disabled once the crystal is being destroyed for the first time. So you can see here, A Knight is going to completely destroy every single part of their body except for the main one. And now we are down to already less than half, and also we are on turn 10. It's quite tight, honestly, if you have lower investments, but if you just sustain well, right, use less of the HP cards, because once it goes down to just the body itself, it will use ultimate every single turn, but the main focus isn't damage anymore. It will just do half damage. It's not that painful, so you can afford to use, right, one HP card and then try to just full on attack DPS. Do not think of like going to high health again. This is pointless. You really want to rush out as much DPS as possible. You can see here, right, I'm just using this one last health card. I don't think I'm going to like use any more health cards because the turns is really running out here. And at the end stage, of course, you would try to, as much as possible, shuffle your cards so that you can get the single target ultimate up, like in this case Beacon's ultimate, and of course also with the A Knight ultimate that I'm also going to want to get up. So if I don't have those cards, I'm going to shuffle 100%. I just want to make sure that I am able to optim as much damage as possible and just shuffle away all of the healing cards and my necrologist cards that are not useful anymore. The ultimate will not help me because I'm only left with 2 turns, right? In fact, just 1 turn over here. So this turn and then the next turn. So ultimate, and then try a way to make sure that I can get the ultimate next turn with my other DPS, which is A Knight in this case. Try to do so, move cards, shuffle cards, whatever you need to do, just do that. And here, I did overkill it by a bit. I think the HP here should be less than 10k. Okay, so should be already cleared very easily. So this is how you can actually clear it with relatively low investments level. And honestly, a lot of people, I know you guys have 2 fairy. So if you have 2 fairy, it's not going to be as difficult as like me setting the restriction for myself to not be able to use Tooth Fairy. Tooth Fairy can cover a lot of things over here. The biggest thing is that you can see all of the attack stats, right? The stacks of negative debuff is 5% damage dealt decrease per stack. So all of my units here have a 20% damage nerf, but I'm still able to clear it within 12 turns. With Tooth Fairy, if you're able to cleanse with the ultimate, very easily you're going to clear this, no problems at all, as long as you have even like a relatively good DPS unit. So this is how I managed to clear within 12 turns with relatively low investment. You can take a look at these stats over here. A Knight doing much of the work, but Beacon is also doing pretty good. Balloon Party healing, and Necrologist just doing Necrologist things with the damage buff. Now, of course, the in topic in Tau right now is whether you should really go for Tooth Fairy. You can see there is still 11 days on this banner. If you haven't gotten it or want to know why it is important to get Tooth Fairy, definitely check out this video over here. I'll see you guys over there. This is Corky Gachas, signing off.